So I'm leaving the gym right now, and a lot of things are going through my mind, and I just wanted to share with you guys. The content that I share with you guys, let me just tell you, man, it's very beneficial. It'll get you out of the hole. It'll get you to think like a winner and be a champion, so to speak. It'll, if I wanted to, I could charge thousands and thousands of dollars. I give it to you guys for free. I hope you appreciate it. So I wanted to talk about reinventing yourself. So how, it was going in my mind, right? It has to do with, like my name has been Proof 2.0. I don't know for how long, but I'll be conservative and I'll say for about 8 years, right? I started off with Proof, only on YouTube. And when I felt like I outgrew that title, so to speak, when I outgrew that version of myself, from glory to glory, faith to faith, when I started to learn more wisdom and understanding and insight, revelation, and started to apply it, because it's not just knowing it, but it's applying it, and it's working it out. And once you start to go, you grow. And just like muscles grow, when you practice and when you do repetitions and when you just keep coming back over and over again, it just doesn't happen in one single day. And you have discouraging times and thoughts and stuff like that, but you chuck them out and you keep going. I just want you to know that's normal for everybody. It's part of the journey, that you have to fight against the current of the discouragement. Right? When you don't see what you want, you keep going, you keep pressing forward, right? Chuck it out, and you introduce a new thought where that empty space was of the discouragement. So I was just thinking in the gym right now how I want to crack the code to life. And what that means to me is that I want to explain life to people. I'm not all the way there yet, but there is a way to apply yourself in this daily walk, where you can avoid conflict, avoid problems. You can even make friends with your enemies if you know how to do life appropriately. There's a way to think and apply yourself in everyday life to overcome and supersede. There's a way to talk. The book of Proverbs teaches how you could stop a quarrel from escalating by being gentle, and in the way you respond, and it doesn't necessarily have to go to that next level if you know how to apply it. For this, it takes self-discipline and control. It takes a practice, and it takes dedication and putting a mind and effort into it. But like anything else, as you apply it more and more, you get better at it. So life tends to throw at you the same type of routines over and over again. And if you're awake and alert and sober-minded, you can capture a revelation of how people collaborate with one another, the psychology of humans, of how they operate, etc. This is like what marketing does. A lot of people in business, they study behavior, they study motives. This is how they make social media platforms so addicting, is because they study the brain, they study. So there is an element to that, because, like, for example, Apostle Paul said, to the Jew I became like a Jew, to the weak I became weak, to the strong I became strong, that I might be able to win them all for Christ. And so it's like, to the people that practice the law, I became like one of them, so that I could kind of come in, have something in common with them, right? And then from that place of making friendship with them, right? Hey, I like your shoes. I like those shoes, man. Where'd you buy them? Oh, Foot Locker. Oh, nice, man. How much were they? Oh, $100. Man, I'm gonna buy a pair just like them, man. You got good taste. Okay, you already made them smile. And then from that place, you can build on that and then introduce Jesus later on. They're more open to hearing about Jesus than hey, repent or go to hell, you know, right off the bat, right? So you build up to it. And so that's what Apostle Paul understood. He understood how to go about life in 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 ways, right? But then he said something that was really interesting. He said, you know, although I studied everything and I'm more intellectually sound than all of you, because he gave his resume and he said how you know, he was a Pharisee of Pharisees, how he kept the law to almost to the T, how he was born of Benjamin, and he gave all this stuff of like his credentials, so to speak. But then he said in the end, like, all of that is esteemed in this world, almost like put on a pedestal. That's almost like saying I'm a lawyer, a doctor, a firefighter, and a cop all at the same time. I'm a teacher, I'm a builder, and then you're like, wow, dude, you really are all those things. Yeah. And then it's like, but then he ends it up with saying, but I counted all that dung, right, like manure, compared to knowing Jesus Christ. So my intellectual capacity, my wisdom, everything good about me came when I was introduced to Jesus. I was dumb as rocks before Jesus. I was fried because of the drugs. I was like, you guys know my testimony: schizophrenic, bipolar, psychotic, and manic depressant. I was not up here, like there was nothing there. So something like what I'm hearing now, what I'm speaking now, if I would have been on the opposite, I would have been like, I know he's spitting wisdom and truth, but I don't get it. And my mind wouldn't be sound enough to receive it. So I would flip. And then I'll see a guy with spaghetti on his head singing a song like dee 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 dee, a grown man, and then I'll be entertained by that, because that's my capacity. That's where I was at. And so I'd mock him, I make fun of him, you know, to make myself feel better, etc. And then I'll go about my life, going to another video, lustful videos, this, that, and the other, just to occupy my time, entertainment. And at the end of the day, put my phone down, go hang out with friends, do bad stuff, crimes and sin and this and that, and then feel shame, guilt, and condemnation, feel the burdens of all that I did weigh on me, go to sleep depressed and in darkness, have demons visit me and torment me at night, and then wake up and do it all over again. And I was in this cycle where I was living a defeated life. But I dare to say that you could have taken me out of Egypt, but Egypt was still in me. You could have taken me out of the neighborhood. You could have taken me out of all that, and brought me to another place. But there's something about meeting Jesus Christ, being born again, having that visitation where the Lord ministers to you personally, gives you identity, esteems you. And this doesn't happen by chance. You seek him, you knock on his door, and he answers. He answers when you mean it from your heart, right? Every time God answered me, I was in desperation mode, crying, at wit's end, didn't know what to do, but he would be there. And he helped me. He told me what to do. He sent me people. Videos like this, he sends it to you. But it's what you do with it that down the line in your future, you're able to say, man, because I applied myself when I watched that video and I started now, you know, that was 5 years ago now. And then you can say your testimony of how you're no longer that person. So I'm into growth, I'm into building, I'm into being a better version of yourself down the line, you know. I never knew how to answer the 5-year plan when people would ask me, oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I just made a video about owning yourself, owning the things, your feelings, your mentality, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just made a video on that. Watch it. I think it's beneficial to you. And because it takes you to own all the garbage and all the rubbish in order to do something about it, right? In order to put your foot down and say enough is enough. I will re-illustrate in this video what I said in the last video because it's so important. The story that you tell yourself is going to dictate where you are in the future. If your story is that you're a victim because of circumstances that people did something to you, in this place that you went to once upon a time, horrible things happened to you, and now you are the way you are, there is no outlet to that story. That story has a dead end. You have to recreate your story, and you're the author of what you want to tell yourself. In other words, you get to say to your story, that happened, and then I made a series of bad choices afterwards, but then you can introduce hope into the story. Hope in a future, light into your story. And by that I mean, I'm going to church now, man. I'm gonna do the things that my feelings and my emotions, they tell me I can't do, but I'm gonna do them anyway. I felt like a fish out of water in church for like the first 2 years. A fish out of water. I felt so uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel, this is for good people. This is what I would think. I'm not good. What am I doing here? And then later on, I started to mingle and talk to people and found out that the church was full of prostitutes and drug addicts and drug dealers that had been converted, and that God had saved them, redeemed them, sanctified them, filled them with the Holy Spirit. And now they didn't represent that lifestyle anymore. They were all dressed differently, talking differently, and yet they had a past. They had a testimony. And I said, man, you don't look like it. You don't talk like it. You don't act like it. Every other word in my vocabulary back in the day was dog. Like that I can't even say it now. I don't talk like that no more. It's because I renewed my mind, and this is available to anybody that wants to do it. The way that I would dress, saggy pants, always a quart in my hand, cigarette in my ear, cuss words. I would always look down on females, calling them bi, that word, that was the lingo, that was the terminology, that was the mindset, that was the course I was on, the training camp that the devil had me on that I didn't even know. I was just a puppet, man. But when God enlightened me, when you open up my eyes, because you may have eyes, but you may not be able to see. When God opened up my eyes, I was able to see. I was able to see all the damage I was doing to myself. I was able to see how I was helping the devil destroy me and destroy my family and destroy others. And how, in the end of the day, I was going to go to hell. So I was living defeated on earth, and then in the end, my payment was hell. Let me tell you, man, I got my act together real quick. So I just want to let you know, guys, there's a right way and a wrong way to think, right? And whatever platform you're standing on, the platform could be your story of what you tell yourself. The platform could be your perception. I can't catch a break. That's a lot of people's mentality. Everybody goes before me. I feel forgotten. I feel lost. I feel confused. And this, that, and the other. You can feel a certain type of way. That doesn't make you your identity. In other words, one of the worst things, I'm convinced, one of the worst things that we could do to ourselves is victimize ourselves. It's one of the worst things. I speak from experience. I used to be that guy. But as long as I had the victim mentality, it was too hard. I couldn't do it. I got dealt the wrong cards. If my dad would have been in the picture, if I would have had a role model, if I would have had a good mentor, if if my mom hadn't done this, or it was always about somebody else. And I never took ownership or accountability for anything. And everything that I did wrong, there was a reason why I did it. Except the reason was foolish and selfish, and it didn't even make sense. But it was good enough for me because it kept me going in that cycle. It just got you off my back. All that is destruction. It's a life of destruction, right? It doesn't lead to life. It doesn't bear good fruit. There's nothing there. And God is calling you out. And the whole reason why God calls people out is because God knows something you don't know. He knows how valuable you are. Even the devil knows how valuable you are, but he tries to convince you that you're nothing, knowing full well of what you're capable of. But the devil tries really hard to put the bar, not even by your feet, under your feet, in terms of living and treating people and doing bad things, and just looking for a way to make it all right and okay. And then he does that usually through culture. He creates a culture that he has everybody marching the wrong way, and then these people look at that people and they say, well, I want to fit in, I don't want to stand out. But without you standing out, there would be no revolution. There would be no Martin Luther King. There would be no all these great people in the world. If you don't stand up for what's right, not only are you part of the problem, but you'll bear the same yoke and curses that they bear, which is not worth it to you or your family. So it's beneficial to you to stand up. That's why the Bible continuously says, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. I am with you. It goes on to say things like 1,000 may fall at your left hand and 10,000 at your right, but nothing will happen to you. Like, what are you believing? What are you believing, and what are you standing on? The promises or the curses? Where is your direction going? I want to leave you with this question. Like, if you don't work it out, if you don't think about it, who's going to do it? If you're not going to do it for yourself, who's going to do it for you? People are always waiting for somebody else to do something for them, or to change the world, or to do whatever. People are always waiting. They see a problem and they say somebody else will take care of it. They're so passive. You're not doing yourself any favors. But the reason people think that way is because of the programming and the story that they tell themselves. I'm not good enough. Their self-esteem and their confidence is shot. They feel like they don't make a difference. And if they're honest with themselves and you ask them, do you try? They say, no, I don't really try. What's the use? They live a defeated mentality. They have a defeated mentality. As a result of having a defeated mentality, how can you ever win? But yet they wish and hope and pray, give me $1 million, live in that rut of a life. Give me billions of dollars. I'll feed the poor if you give it to me. I'll do this, I'll do that. But look at where you're at in terms of the mentality, in terms of your lifestyle, in terms of what you can do today. You have to, if you can be trusted with a little bit, you can be trusted with a lot. But God looks at the heart and he sees. So what should you get from this video? Correction, which God corrects those that he loves. It's a loving thing to correct. And the wise, the Bible says, the wise receive correction, and they actually hug you. They want to kiss you. They're like, man, thank you, man. You open my eyes to something that I'm going to apply. It's going to change my everything. Imagine you learning something about the stock market that makes you rich. Imagine you learning something about your day-to-day walk that can make you feel and look and act and everything better. It's like, dude, apply that, and you can really jump from where you're at to a higher stage, and then be faithful there, and you'll climb higher. You gotta engage, you gotta activate yourself, you have to apply yourself, you have to connect yourself, you have to try, you have to put forth effort. You can't give up, you can't get weary in doing good, you can't give it a try and say it's not working. You gotta keep going, even when it's hard. You gotta keep going and going. You know how long I've been working out? 20 plus years. And I've been at this, and I've had my moments where I've cried, I've screamed, I've I've been so frustrated because the amount of work I put into the gym and my diet and everything like that. I should I should be a bodybuilder because of the amount of work I put. I go to the gym like 2 or 3 times a day, every day, and I understand what it's like not to see what you want to see, like to put in the work but not see what you want to see. I understand that, but every time I've gotten down on myself and I said to myself, man, it's not working, bro. Like, what's the use? I can't get this, like, bottom of my stomach off. I want it. I want it gone. I do abs. I walk. I run. I do crunches, other stuff, and it's just what's going on, man. And so sometimes I get down. It hasn't happened in a long time, but there's been times where I get down on myself because I'm human, and then I'll be like, screw it. And then there's this thing that turns on that is self-sabotage, and it's like, well, you know what? If I can't get what I want, I'm gonna go all-you-can-eat buffet, and I'm just gonna go all out. Because what's the use? In the end of the day, I don't get to see what I want anyway. So what the heck? And so I've done that, and then I've gone to a buffet only to come home and see things that I don't want to see. More flabbiness, more all that. And I'm like to myself, I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. Yeah, I don't wanna go down this road either, you know what I mean? Like, you have this like frustration, and sometimes your frustration can lead you to make the wrong choices. But when you're able to see that it's taking you in a direction you don't want to be in, you don't want to live there, at that point you gotta just, okay, I'm going back to the gym. We're gonna keep doing, we're gonna keep trying, we're gonna try new things, we're gonna stop doing this, we're gonna start doing that. I've tried every workout known to man. Resistance, heavy, light, high repetitions, everything. There's nothing I haven't tried. Watched every video, but my thing is that I can't give up. I got to keep going. So I tell you that story simply because, that one day I have the hope that one day I'm gonna make it, and one day I'm gonna have that six-pack I've always wanted. I don't look bad, like, in terms of like the results that I'm looking for. My mentality is I want the perfect body, but in terms of like I'm pretty strong. I can pick up a lot of weight, etc. Like, so there is progress. So my platform, I could look at it like, man, you can push 315 pounds. Not a lot of people could do that. Benching. You can and then you can look at it from different perspectives. You can go all around the playing field, and you can look at it from, oh man, I don't have this. Or you can look at it like, you can do stuff that other people can't do, and you don't look bad, and so it's good to have ambition, but it's also good to weigh it out and balance things out so that it's not like, you gotta check yourself, is what I'm trying to say. Some mentalities and some thought processes are not healthy, and you gotta cut them off. And that for me is something that I gotta address, and I gotta look at it from a different perspective, right? So that's pretty much the video in a nutshell, guys. God bless you.